Hello, audience. Welcome to another episode of Have You Seen It? I am Charles, and I am with the lovely Denise. How you doing, girl?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, movie goers.
So, if you guys are noticing, right, and I know you notice everything about Denise and probably nothing about me. Y'all notice that she's a little bit farther away from the wall, right? In one of her favorite rooms in the house in the big huge mansion that they have, right? Uh, and the director wasn't happy with the lighting. So he had to pull it from the wall. What are you recommending this week?
Okay, the movie I'm recommending this week is Below Zero.
Ooh,
It stars Javier Gutierrez and Cara Elahalde.
ooh, I love that
And
pronunciation, girl. You know bad stuff.
and this movie, much of it was filmed in Spain. Okay, and it's a story of a police officer and his fellow officers transporting prisoners from one location to another. So they're on this huge prisoner transport bus, and they wind up on a very lonely stretch of road out in the middle of nowhere, and hence the title Below Zero. It's very frigid outdoors. Well, on that journey, they are ambushed and under a brutal attack, and they don't know who the perpetrator is, but it's basically a situation where their lives are in danger. And the police officer, he survives, but he has to fortify his position, and he is still in charge of those prisoners on board. So the perpetrator is doing everything he can to kill these people. Starts a fire inside of the transport bus. He floods it, you know. And so once the perpetrator does all of that, he then takes over the bus and drives the bus to a desolate, frigid ice pond or river or lake or whatever, and he escapes and leaves them for dead. So at that point, you think of, oh my God, the Poseidon adventure, people, trapped and about to drown and die. Well, as the movie unfolds, you find out that the person who ambushed this transport van is the father of a young girl who was killed, and one of the convicts on the transport bus is responsible, and dad just wants to interrogate him. So he goes through all of this so that he can get to that one prisoner. And fast forward towards the end of the movie, that last 30 minutes is basically a shootout between the police officer who survives, the dad, and the one convict that he wants to interrogate. So, it's chilling to watch. It's very violent, very bloody, cursing, all that kind of stuff that comes with that sort of movie. But I enjoyed it. Had, mixed reviews, but I enjoyed it because during the last 30 minutes, I'm like, how in the world are you going to survive this? Okay, you got out of that. How you going to survive that?
Right.
Okay, you got out of that. Now what you going to do now? So I liked Below Zero, check it out.
Okay, so my recommendation for this week is Centronics, and that's starring Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan, and they are two good friends in this movie. Anthony, who plays Steve, and Jamie plays Dennis. Right, Steve is more of a ladies' man, right, but Dennis he's happily married and has two kids. They're both are paramedics, and they've been friends from the movie makes it seem like they've been friends from childhood, and they have been going on a series of call outs of people that were dying in strange ways, and they also find out that people had been even disappearing. And they all found that it was linked to this new synthetic drug called Centronics. So at the same time, Steve, played by Anthony Mackie, finds out that he has a brain cancer and he only has so long to live, like about 6 weeks to live. So he decides one of the things that he's going to do with the remaining of his life is go around and buy up all this drug, all this synthetic designer drug called Centronics to protect others from it in the city. On one of the call outs, they go and they find that his good friend Dennis, his daughter, took the drug and she disappeared and they don't know where she's at. So they're trying to find her. And so Steve, for some reason, takes the drug and he finds out that the drug is a time lapse drug. It takes you back in time. And depending on where you at in the city, it takes you back to a certain place in time when the city wasn't developed, right? And he went to some places that were crazy. All right. And through all this trial and error, he decides that, hey, I'm going to try to go back in time to see if I can find my best friend's daughter and bring her back. So my recommendation is Centronics.
Okay, thank you.
What is your nailed it for this week?
My nailed it for this week is none other than Ben Stiller in the movie Along Came Polly for 3 reasons: the restaurant scene, the bathroom scene, and the salsa lessons. Those 3 scenes right there did it for me and do it for me every time. Ben Stiller had me in tears and hollering. I couldn't catch my breath. He was so good in that movie as a risk assessment manager. So that's my recommendation. I don't have nothing else to say. You got to watch the movie. Ben Stiller, Along Came Polly. Too funny.
My nailed it for this week is Drew Barrymore. It's going to be 2, Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. You couldn't do one without the other for this particular movie, 50 First Dates. This movie is so funny. It's hilarious. A great date night movie, right? And these two together in this movie, the chemistry was totally outstanding. So my nailed it is Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler in 50 First Dates.
Folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, "Have you seen it?" with Charles and Denise, and there we will be.
Audience, thank you for joining us for another episode of Have You Seen It? For myself, Charles, and Denise, my lovely co-host, we bid you adieu.
Bye-bye.